Stanford University.
Good afternoon. My name is Abbas Milani. I direct the Iranian Studies program here at Stanford. Before introducing our tonight's speaker, who I'm sure does not need any introduction, let me make a couple of announcements about our upcoming events. For the rest of the quarter, we have 3 other programs lined up. Next week, April 15th, same time, same place, Ziba Karbasi will be talking about breath poetry. I think what she means, I've talked to her a little bit, I think she means about the process of writing poetry as a spontaneous act compared to poetry as a constructed artifact. On April 30th, in Coberly Auditorium, right down the hall, we will have Roger Cohen, the columnist for the New York Times. He will be talking about his experiences on Iran and covering Iran. And on May 7th, this one will be in Persian. In Coberly as well, Iraj Pezeshzad, the author of Dajan Napoleon, will talk about the creation of Dajan Napoleon, why and how and when, and things of that sort. In all of these, the lectures will be followed by a question and answer period that you will be able to ask. Tonight, we are indeed honored to have Shahrnush Parsipur with us. I think it is no hyperbole to say that there is, amongst the Iranian women writers, no one who writes like her with what Nietzsche would say, blood. She feels her stories, she lives her stories, she pays with her agonies for her stories, and she puts an enormous amount of thinking in the stories. There is something sublimely cerebral about her work, and sublimely independent. Again, I think the value of her novels will be appreciated as much for the novelty of their style as for the daring of the writer and her willingness and her ability to challenge the shibboleths and the standard received opinions. She has, of course, sadly for us, paid heavily for her independence, but she continues her creative work, and it is about her latest work, I think. I have lost count, but I think it is her last work, Asia and the Two Worlds, or Asia Facing the Two Worlds, that she will be talking. She will be talking in English, and occasionally she says that she might need some assistance from the audience, so we should be there helping. Ms. Parsipur.
Hello to everybody. My English is not well enough. Mr. Milani he's here to help me. I don't know what can I say about my book. If you like, you can ask the question and I can explain you. But briefly, I tell you, it was an idea in my mind about a woman. Her name is Asiye. Asiye means Asia. And Asiye is a woman that I thought at the first moment that she is a woman from a village of Iran, and she wants to immigrate to this city. Then she sits on a stone and she thinks about her life. This was the idea in my mind, and I had it for 15 years, 12, 20 years in my mind. Then I decided to write, and almost 5 years ago I began to write it. But in the middle of work, I stopped. It was difficult for me to finish it. And after a lot of time that I tried to finish it, I finished it last year. And I gave it to Mr. Nasser Farrokh in Los Angeles, and a Saye publisher, and he published it in Persian For the audience, American audience, I would like to tell you that I have some books that they are translated into English. Tuba and the Meaning of Night, Woman Without Man, and another book in Chicago anthology. Its name is Trials Offer. But this book is in Persian. It's about a woman from a village of Iran. I think it's very important to think about the villagers in Iran, because we have more than 50,000 villages in Iran, and these villages can't develop themselves because of the problem of water. And so they send always their population to the cities. And Iran has the problem of immigration of villagers to the cities. For example, now Tehran is a huge village because of the 75% of villagers that they live in this city. For example, at the moment of Shah, the city had, at the last moment, 4 million population, but the cinemas were more than now. And now the city is 15 million, has 15 million population. But the cinemas is less, the number of cinemas is less than the moment of Shah. So it's a huge village, but with a very industrial face. So we must work about the problem of villages in Iran. And this book is something in this, with this idea. So this Asiya, she marries in her village, then she divorced, but the marriage is very simple. She goes to another city, a small city. She works there hard, and then she immigrates to Tehran. And in Tehran, she marries for second time, and the marriage always is sireh, because this type of marriage is very common between the normal people of Iran, not the people of middle class, but the villagers. Their marriage is more or less always, not always, but in a majority of the time, is in the type of sireh. And you know what is the sireh? You don't know. This is temporary marriage, and it's very common between the villagers. And the villagers that they go and ziyarat mikone, pilgrimage in the holy cities, they found always they do always a temporary marriage. And so this is the second marriage of her, and then after that, she lives always alone, and she's a مستخدم کلفت servant. She's a servant. Servant is not a good word for kolfat. The French has a very good maid. Yeah, it's better. So this is my book. So I am ready to answer your question. At the last moment, she has nothing. She buys a home, but her bride, her daughter-in-law, she's really against her because they haven't enough money to have another home. So they want her home, her son and her daughter-in-law. And so she's very desperate, you know. She has nothing, and they beat her always to kill her, in a sense of not kill her really, but kill her mentally. Yeah.
But what's the idea behind it? You always have an idea behind your novels.
Because the villagers are 75% of the Iranian population. And I knew this woman. Her real name is Sadiqe. And she was excellent. She worked at my home. And when she hadn't any job, she listened to the radio, she looked at TV, and she wrote the her book. She wanted to learn writing. And she did three work at the same time. And she told me always, I am an intellectual. You don't know, you can imagine. And she was really an intellectual, in a sense, pragmatist type of sense of the word. And I liked her more than all the intellectual that I had around me, because her opinion in everything was more important than these people. At the same time, she was very practical. She never throw anything. For example, she ate the orange, but the skin of the orange was something to make something. And so it was wonderful. And but she couldn't write. One day I tried to teach her درس بهداشت. Hygiene. And when I was in the middle of the course, I looked at her. All her face was full of sorrow, and she tried hard to understand what's the meaning of lungs, other part of the body. They had a difficult name, but she tries really to understand, and she never had the chance to study. So for me, Sadeqi was a spirit of Iran, a part of Iran. And I tried to explain it for other people. I have another book, Tuba and the Meaning of Night. There I have a Tuba. She is the spirit of the society in a general sense. It was my idea. But here Sadeqi is the mass of the people. And with her original character as a villager. So this is the idea that I had around the book.
How did you get into her skin? How did you really understand her life in the village when you had to write it down?
You have absolutely reason, but I lived with her for several years. And I tried sincerely to find her spirit. And because I had profound respect for her, it wasn't that I had pity for her. No, never. I had a profound respect for her, and so I tried to understand her. And I think I understand her very well. I tried to be in her skin, because I am very believer of Zen Buddhism. And in Zen Buddhism, it's possible to be in the skin of other people, or even the object. It's very possible. I am not very specialized in Zen Buddhism, but it's really possible. If you have respect for others, and if you think that they are a dimensional character and they have 3 dimension, 4 dimension, so it's possible to be with them and to influence in their body, no? It's possible.
Did you interview her, talk to her about her life?
She spoke about her life with me, and I found it's a very strange life, because when she was at the age 8, the Kat Khuda, the village elder tried to confiscate their land, and because of this, he made a file for her father. And after that, she was the witness of the death of 2 sisters. They died in front of her. They were 6 years, 5 years, and 3 years old. And she was alone with these sisters in her home. And the mother was escaped, and the father was in prison, and etc. And she suffered a lot in her life. And I tried to find what's her real sense about the life and about this. I think I was successful to show it, because the people that they read the book, they told me they understand very well the situation. You must read it. You are Iranian? No. So you must translate it into.
There is a book that is similar to this, that two that I've heard of. One is Thomas Hardy wrote Tess of the de Bourreville's, and that was also a story, of course it's an old book. And then I heard about an Italian lady who was a maid who would write her own story every day. She would come back from work and she was a maid, and then her daughter told her to publish her story.
Okay.
And it was written by the maid herself.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this is maybe 2 years ago, but I wish I could read
I had never in my mind these ideas, but I want to tell you that she couldn't write. This was the problem, but she tried hard to write. And I tried to write for herself. I tried to write about her, and unfortunately, I think she has died, because I sent a lot of people to find her, but it's not possible.
So Shahrnush Parsipur is written after this Sadeqi?
First in the book, her name was Sadeqi. But after that, I found she has family, and it's not good to keep the name. At the same time, I found Asia or Asia is better name for the book, so I changed it to Asia. Yeah.
What is Asia's view on religion? Because villagers are, thought of as religious. That's kind of the stereotype we have of the villagers, and some of them are very religious, some of them are not. What is her kind of worldview?
She is absolutely religious. But religious in the sense of human being, not a mullah, because we have two religions. Some people are religious. Personally, I'm religious, but I haven't any religion because I don't like to go to mosque or to church or to synagogue. I like to be with God, but not the God that the religion present to you. It's very difficult for me in the nature. When you look at the nature, you find a very clever sense of being. I don't know, something is clever in the nature. So I tried hard to find it, to feel it, and this is a religious sense of life. Sadeqi also, she was religious, and but she lived with her religion very simply, not wanted to kill the people or to make something difficult. Yes?
You seem very sympathetic, or at least it seems to me that you're very sympathetic towards Asiye.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see her plight in relation to what is going on in Iran at the moment? Is life getting better for Asiye, or is it getting harder?
It depends. At the beginning, it was very good for her because Bani Sadr, they made a program to give the home to the poor people. And she was capable to buy an apartment with a very small money. So she was very satisfied. And then she went to Mecca, and she was absolutely fascinated by airplane, by Mecca, by all things. But after that, she was very pessimist, like all the Iranians, but in her manner, because when the people speak about Khomeini and they mock him, or they mock the mullah, she became a little angry because she thought they are the children of prophet, But after a while, she found, no, it's not very easy to live with a mullah. And she told me one day, I'm not satisfied, it's not good. So I tried to explain this situation in the book. Yes?
some the norm in those particular sectors to have these sort of temporary marriages. But I don't believe in contemporary Iran that is the common norm. And I got the impression that you're saying most people have those type of temporary marriages. And that's kind of doesn't compare with my data, at least.
This type of marriage, temporary marriage, I think is very ancient in Middle Eastern countries. And the reason is very different. For example, it's almost 1,400 years that the Iranians worked behind the curtain in Iraq, Syria, and other countries like this. Because, for Iran, for example, Iraq is a long. The situation of Iraq for Iran is the long geographically. ریاهای ایرانه.
You mean distance-wise?
Long. Because Karun goes here, and other rivers that they are very important for Iran. And geopolitically is very important. You know that the capital of the Sassanid was in Madain, near Baghdad. And Baghdad is the city that the Bahram family, Barmakian, they made it, and the name is Persian. Baghdad, the justice of God. It's not Arabic, it's Persian. So this area was very important for the Iranian Shiites. And so because of this, they pray on the Mohr, that is the earth of Baghdad. Samara. No. Karbala. This Mohr is always from Karbala, not other part of the... So geographically, it's very important for the Iranian to keep this area. I think they sent always, in 1,400 years, the soldiers. But these soldiers were covered in the face of merchant or the people that they are kasib. They are the seller of things, and they are the pilgrimage people, like this. And they sent a lot of women that they became sire for this soldier. It was impossible to make the family for these people. Don't be worried, I explained clearly. And so... There is a story very interesting. You can read it. You can laugh a lot. The name is Hitchcock and Aghabaji. And in this story, you will find one of these women that they send it to Karbala for the pilgrimage and to be a sire for other people. So in this story, you will find the situation that I explained for you. It's not this simple thing. Another things. Iran was always under the attack of different tribes. The Mongol, the Tatar, the Turk. I don't want to have anything against the Turk because I am half Turk. But the Turk attacked to Iran 1,000 years in different tribes. So they violate the woman, they rape the woman. The society made a type of marriage, it's temporary marriage, to show, okay, this child that it becomes from this marriage, it's shari, legal, because it was a temporary marriage. A very different reason was the reason for sire. And if you read the Sumerian culture, 5,000 years ago, you will find the type of sire, temporary marriage, between the women that they belong to the temples. And in these temples, they married with the men, temporary marriage. And it's a very long story. I can't tell it in half an hour. So this Shiism is a very ancient religion. It's not Islam. It's something more than 5,000 years ago that they made it this religion, but under another name. It's very clear because it has 12 imams, And 12 Imam means 12 constellation, and it's astrology, and its astrology was the invention of the Sumerian, and the Sumerian are the inventor of this religion. And the temporary marriage was between them because it was a very strong matriarchal system in the area, before the patriarchal system that begins with the Ashurian, and just 3,000 years ago. So we have this type of marriage. But personally, I am very angry with this marriage because it gives a lot of freedom to the woman. Yeah.
Like prostitution, the way that's
No, why? Why it's prostitution?
legal form of prostitution.
Why do you think that you must have always an eternal husband? It's not possible. Sometimes it's not possible. For example, you have 3 children and your husband has died in an accident. And you must keep 3 children. At the same time, you have some sexual desire, it's very clear. And at the same time, there is no man to marry with a woman with 3 children, so she can have a temporary marriage. Why not?
What I'm saying is that it's another form of just,
Prostitution.
yeah, it's legalizing prostitution. Not prostitution, but you can just go. And
It's very different from prostitution. Actually, in Iran, all the girls and boys, they make temporary marriage and they go to the party, to different trip. And it's very, for example, somebody told me in a party in English, in a party, they told, I am serious of this, I am serious of that, I am serious. Yeah,
You named your book Asia Between Two Worlds.
yeah.
Can you explain about these two worlds and why Asia was caught between the two worlds and how she coped between these two worlds?
In my book, she's between village and city,
Is that
Is the main reason. But in reality, it's Asia in front of Western country.
but is referring to a cultural two different worlds in terms of culture or geographic location? I'm sure we are talking about two different cultures. The culture of the village, culture of the city.
Yes, exactly this. The main idea for me is that in this, when you are a villager, you are very famous. Because as a villager, as a very small people in the village, you know all the people. They're from Katkhoda, just the gendarme, that's all. But when you come to the cities, you lost your identity. And you become a very simple character. So this is the main reason of this name that I choose for my book.
And one comment. The temporary marriage, the Siga, is official in Iran. You can buy pre-printed licenses from government and keep it and in time fill it. And if you are inspected, you can present it and make sure you are
Yes.
getting into trouble.
Yes, but some women really, they desire to find an eternal man. It's not possible. The eternal man, always they make something, his name is khiyanat. Betray. So it's not possible to have eternally a man. It's not possible. You can have him temporarily.
Eternal women are not very interesting either.
No, you can find eternal women because there are a lot of women. The women, naturally, because they are responsible in front of their children, they are absolutely different of the men, They try to keep the family and they try to keep their husband and they try to keep the children and they try to keep the morality of the society. But the men are different and they do different, okay?
How long did it take you to write the book?
This bastard book was very interesting because I spent 5 years. But in general, I write in 6 months. And it is one of the very brief, shortest book that I wrote. But I have the book with more than 1,000 pages. I wrote them in 6 months. Because I have something in my mind and I try to write.
I haven't unfortunately read the book, but from your description, it seems to have a romantic view of the village and a rather decrepit view of the city. In reality, the village isn't as romantic as you seem to make it, and the city is not as bad as you seem to imply.
No, I didn't do it. My village in this book is not romantic. It's horrible. Because the Cat Khoda try hard to destroy this family. And they are always hungry. And the children are hungry, but the people are hungry also. They can't help them. And she has to leave the city, the village, because there is nothing for her in the village. I tried to clarify this situation. And then in the city has not any problem. She is not capable to cope herself. But more or less, she does it in a course of the time.
She learns how to cope.
Yes. Yes.
I was at Shirin Neshat's talk about 2 months ago at San Francisco Art Institute, and she talked about a book that's coming out and it's based on or a movie coming out that's based on one of your books, Women Without Men.
Yes.
Can you talk more about that movie?
Are you Iranian or okay? Do you know Persian or no? You read in Persian?
Yes.
Okay. This is the book. Its name is Women Without Men. زنان بدون مردان. This title is not against the men, but contrary is for the men. Because I read one of the book of Hemingway. Its name is Men Without Women. In this book, Hemingway tries to explain about the situation of the men that they can't understand the woman. And for example, in one of these stories that it is always in my mind, the woman has died in the winter. The man put her corpse in the basement and waiting for the spring to bury her. And then whenever he has a job in the basement, he put the lantern in the hand of the bones of the woman, and she became she found in a very horrible face. So I thought, okay, why not women without men? Because they are the women that they think the men are the objects. And they want them as a husband or as a lover or as everything, but not really. Something doesn't work. And there is the woman that they aren't capable to find a man, because they are in a society that they made them as a virgin. I don't speak about virginity, it's a very good thing, but I think about the virgins that they can't touch the men. We have the virgin in Iran at the age 50, 60, and they are horrible for the society. They make the problem. So I try to explain this situation. Shirin Neshat has made a film from this book, and of course she has changed a lot of part of the books, and it's not really my book now, but it's something mixed between me and Shirin, and now it's ready, and they will send it to a festival. Yes. یه نفر اینجا بود سوال داشت. Yes?
Why are the old virgins horrible?
Old virgin?
Why are they horrible? Or what do they do?
Sometimes because they look at other people and they find always the fault, you know. They think that the sexual relation is a bad thing, is a gunah. It's a sin. And they are the موی دماغ others. موی دماغ چی میشه؟ They are pain in the mail. نفهمیدم چی. Pain in the mail. نمیفهمم بگید. They make trouble. And I want to tell you this very interesting story. And sometimes they have a very short idea about the life. The father of I have a friend, he's a man now at the age 70. But his father was alive, and he was a man at the age 80. They thought, two sons of this man, thought it's not bad to make a marriage for him. So they found a lady at the age 72. And this lady was virgin. So they married. And the day of after 1 week, we went to their home, and the lady was beside me. She was absolutely beautiful at her age. And she told me, okay, in the morning of marriage, I showed the dasmal to my sons. I mean, the sons of the man. And I was absolutely amazed. I thought, were you married virgin? She told me, yes, of course. So imagine, at the age 72, she was always virgin, and she thought about virginity always, not other things. She wasn't a scientist, she wasn't a journalist, she wasn't a poet, she wasn't a Jahangir. She was a virgin. Absolutely virginity of the world. Yeah.
Did she continue to be horrible?
Horrible? No, she wasn't horrible.
After marriage, did she continue to be
No, she wasn't horrible. She was a very shy woman. I mean, she did nothing in her world, in her life. She was waiting always for a man. At the age 72, she found him. You know? 80 years old.
I have a question. Some of your most beautiful work, I mean, Tupak, Zemestan-e Boland, Man Without Woman. These are stunningly beautiful work, and they were all written in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Has coming to the United States changed your way of writing? And if it has, what has it done to your creative process?
You know, in the United States, I live between the Iranians. Because of this, my English is horrible. I don't read the journals because I hate it. I don't look at TV, and I don't really listen to the radio. Recently, I listen to the radio sometimes. And so my English is very weak, not very enough to really write in English. But, and I'm always between the Iranians, and I spoke in majority of the time in Persian. And so I am in the spirit of the Iranians. But I am a cosmopolitan type of human beings, because my life is not to think about Iran or the United States. I think about the atoms. I think every hydrogen is capable to think. And every hydrogen is different from other hydrogen beside him, you know. So I have a very huge world in my mind to think about them, and I have no place for the small problems between the United States and Iran and other parts. The globe is a small place that we live, and it's not different if you live here or there, especially at the moment of internet. Personally, I have some problems. For example, I am not near my son. I suffer from this point of view. But no, I don't feel this farness of Iran. And little by little, I am 63 years old, and little by little, my mind goes to the world of ideas, not the stories, And this is a very profound changeness that I sense it very hard, very jaddi, serious. Yes, it was a novel of ideas, and I really like to write about the ideas now. It's the philosophic time of life. Yes.
In the story of Tupak-e Qermez, did you have someone in mind that when you were writing about Tupak?
Yes.
Also, when you're talking now, I feel like you are becoming more like her in the way that she was thinking when she was gradually getting older.
Okay. When I was a child, I was very under the influence of my grandmother. Her name was Tuba, but her title after marriage was Shamsul Muluk. And so she had a very great influence on me because she was a poet, she was a dervish, she danced in the dervish manner, and she was always alone in her room, and she had a library, a small library, and she was very different of other women that I saw around me. Okay, I can speak about her a long time. Then one day she explained for me that at the age 18, when she divorced from her first marriage, she wanted to find God and marry with God. Imagine the woman at this type of idea. And one day in a mosque or in a taziyah, in a Azadari, not Azadari, Rose. She met a mullah that he was excellent orator. And he spoke very beautiful. And he came back to home and she thought, okay, he was God. And then she tried to find this man and she was ready to tell him, sir, marry me because you are God. But she never found this man. And she married with a prince of Qajar. So this idea was in my mind that my grandmother wanted to marry with God. At that moment, I didn't know that the nun also, they married God, I didn't know really. I know now that some type of women are like this. They want to marry God. But at that moment, my grandmother was something very important in my mind. And then it was the revolution of Iran, Islamic revolution. I was in Paris. And I saw in the TV millions and millions of women in the street, and they were all in chador, and they had the slogan. And it was very strange for all of the Iranians. And I thought, what did they want really? And after a while, I found, okay, they want to marry with God because just now they were the wives of the men, and they are not comfortable. They see something other. They want to marry God. So I decided to write the story of my grandmother. I thought she's a very good youngin, average of this type of woman. And this type of woman, I think they are the spirit of every society. So I wrote it. Yeah. Thank you. Yes?
In your opinion, how do you feel about the language of the Farsi or the Zamani Nevishtan that in the past 30 years? Has that really improved significantly? Do you think has actually got better? Or do you feel that it has made enough progress within that 30 years? Or is that sort of has not,
My language or the language of the society?
The language of the society, the language that is used for writings for people that they write.
From the moment that I came to the United States, whenever I try to write politely. I mean, the type of Iranian type of literature, I use the word میتواند, not میتونه. Like this. I don't broke the verbs or the type of this. Because I found the new generation, they don't know really Persian. And they break all the words and they make something very cheap in Persian language. So I try, when my people in my book, they speak very politely. But I do it consciously. Consciously. Yes.
Who's your favorite poet?
My favorite poet. Between the temporary boss. I am the lover of Hafiz, the lover of Lao Tse, Chinese poet. Lao Tse. I am the lover of sometimes Maulana, but now I have a guard with him because he's very patriarchal. I don't like it. And I love Sohrab Sepehri, Furugh Farrokhzad. Yeah.
Can you explain more about your new situation with Maulana?
Anything? You mean I spoke about this?
Can you describe why you have guards against Maulana?
Yes. Because he's impolite with the woman in his books. And he tried to... okay, it's a very long story. I don't know how I can use it. Traditionally, in a very, very long ancient time, the men and the women governed the world with each other. When you read the stories of Sumer, the mythology of Sumer, you will find that the women are very important. For example, the inventor of Enkidu, a human being, is a woman. Her name is Aro. Or the god and goddesses are this equal in their job. When the patriarchal system begins to work, some men became the woman and they govern the world with the men. It's very difficult to understand. Or relation in patriarchal system in 3,000 years, in these 3,000 years, you will find the اتحادیه. Unity of mard and amard. Men and the pederast. All the philosophers of Greek philosophers are pederast. It doesn't matter. Pederastry. Or be gay or lesbian is not important. It's some type of human being. But when you حذف میکنید, when you eliminate the humanity of the world to put in place a pederast, you صدمه میزنید به روح جهان. You damage the soul of the world. And this is a very important thing because mard and amard, man and pederast, hand back to hand, they make a lot of invention. At the same time, these inventions are dangerous because both of them are men and they walk in a manner of the men. But when you have the woman with the men, the women act as the space and the men act as time, for example. So the movement, the time, tell, I want to pass. And the space tell, Hamshu, bend over. And it became something more in 200 years, it's 99% of invention of the world has made in these 200 years. Last 200 years. And this is made by Mard and Amard. And now we are in front of something very dangerous that we don't feel it now very good, you know. I prefer the word of the men and women. I am not against the gay. I repeat it, I am not against the gay, but I am against the elimination of the woman. And Maulana is very patriarchal, and he's at the same time very homosexual. At the same time, he has a wife and he has a etc. But he's very homosexual. I don't like it. But his poems are very beautiful. I saw in English that when they translate his poems, they don't speak about she, they always speak about he. And it's something very interesting to analyze it. Is it clear, the thing that I tell? Okay. He is a genius one. I haven't anything else. But Sokorad also, he is a genius one. But he is very pederast. So, why I must think always about the society that the pederast man has made it? I am a woman and I like to think about womanity of the world and about the world that I can do it. If they don't want me, I made it myself.
But maybe it wasn't his choice to love Shams, and it wasn't his intention to just fall in love with him.
I understand Maulana, but no, I like to be against him. I like to be, not really. But I want to tell him, sir, just a moment, please. I am something. Okay. It is a very interesting book. The lady, اون خانومی چیز نوشته اسمش چیه؟ سعیده قدس. The name of the book is Kimya Khatun. It's the story about the girl at the age 14. This girl is the daughter of the wife of Maulana. He gifted to Shams. And poor girl died after 1 year. And so, I think if Kimya Khatun was alive, perhaps she could write a very good poems. But we haven't her. She dies. Yeah.
Shahrnush, on the follow-up to this, why do you think the West has fallen in love with Maulana at this moment?
A lot of reasons. First of all, because they need something mystic. Second, because Maulana is a genius one. Third, he has a lot of story about Muis. So the Jewish like to present him in the West. So there is a lot of reason for his presentation. Yes?
Something that you said sparked a recollection of Edward Said, who talked about how the West looks at the East as a woman, and in his theory of Orientalism, he talks about how the West has a paternal, strong character, and the East is womanly and sort of not is fickle and unreliable.
What is the East? I don't understand what's the meaning of East, because we have India, we have China, we have Iran, we have Arabs. China is a continent for itself. And they are really men, they are not women. India, yes, it's very woman, but a very strong woman. It's like space. You bend, then meet her. It's very difficult to touch it. And Iran is a layman, I think. It's not woman, but it's a layman. And the Arabs or something with sword, it's a real thing. So I'm not with this idea of the Western countries to be in front of a woman in East.
So you don't agree with Edward Said's theory, but
I didn't read Edward Said. I'm not familiar, so I can't give my idea.
the question that I was really going to ask you was how you think that your being in the U.S., how this collision of cultures, if I can call it that, obviously by not going out into the English-speaking world by getting you're happy for English speakers perhaps to come to your work in Persian, but do you see? Would you like to comment on how you feel being enveloped by the West as you are here in the U.S.? How you feel about being in this diaspora, if you will, of Iranian emigres?
You know, I have chosen the United States and unconsciously because of geography. Iran is the center of the world, ancient world, and the United States, I mean America, is far from all the old world, you know. And imagine that the geography of America has made it very strong. It is Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Canada, and a little Mexico, a little bordering, but not very important. And now they have made a wall, you know. But Iran is also always under attack. I needed a time to think about the things. In Iran, it's not possible. I wrote a book, his name is Shiva. In this book, it's a science fiction. I tried to explain the situation of a scientist, a man. He is a scientist. He wants to stay in Iran, but it's not possible. Because at the first moment that he makes something, all the world look at him. You know, it's the geographical situation of Iran. It's like this. So I needed a time to think about the things. I came to the United States. Of course, I had to come because in Iran my situation was dangerous. It was possible to kill me. So I came, but I could stay in Europe. I have chosen the United States. And now in this geography, I am more free to think about the things. And naturally, all things that I can make is for Iran and other people. I answer you or no?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
You reflect what many people who are outside of their homeland through choice or compulsion share. I think this idea of being outside your home but still having a connection with it and a desire to support.
Yes. Have to.
Time for one more question.
One more question, okay. There is no question.
Has any of your books been translated?
Yes. You can write it, Tuba and the Meaning of Night, Tuba, Touba, and the Meaning of Night, and Woman Without Men. I consider you the book Chicago Anthology. I haven't any economical profit in it, but you can find Iranian writers from the beginning of the 20th century that they have the last of the century. So it begins from Jamalzadeh, just me and some others. And it's a very good, useful book. Yes?
Reading about your bio in the flyer, you were educated in Sorbonne.
Yes.
So you have a good French background.
No, not really. I was in France 4 years. And I studied in Sorbonne 2 years. Very naive because I tried to study in Chinese by help of French language that I didn't know. So it was very specific time. But, okay.
Yeah, well, it answered my second question, which was going to be, have you written in French, or have you considered living in France rather than moving to France than the United States?
Yeah, I was in France, and one night we wanted to go in front of the Iranian embassy for some slogan or something like this. I wasn't political activist. And the police of France was there, very horrible. Then 2 days after that, they called me to the police station. I didn't go in front of the embassy. I went to the police station and suddenly I found that they want to hurt me because I heard from other room صدای ضبط شده یه مرد ایرانی رو.
The taped voice of an Iranian man.
He cried and he asked, "Oh, forgive me, I am very sorry for my job, etc." This was the first experience. The second experience was the moment that they tried to make something for Iran, the attack of Iraq. And before that, some men attacked to Iranian embassy in London. And they made, the French people and the English people, they made a show very horrible. They show it that they are in the embassy and then they kill an Iranian and they showed it in front of TV. And I was absolutely angry. I thought, okay, you think we are the donkey and you can do everything with us. So I will go back to my country. And I live there with these donkeys. I prefer them to you. So I never go back to France. But it is something at that moment was in my mind. Of course, I had another reason also.
Well, we are very grateful that you left those donkeys and came here.
No, I like these donkeys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more, please visit us at stanford.edu.